Welcome back to Play the Bay, presented by Believe Podcast Network and Three Daughters Brewing. Guys, we're back. We survived Super Bowl, post-Super Bowl. Now we're the sad time of the year, baseball and hockey.
This is not, wait, everybody calm down. This is not the sad time of the year. This is, I think, off-season. This will be the most exciting offseason in the NFL. And I even thought about, and I held this in for the last 3 days before I talked to you guys. I'm thinking about doing a draft show back with Sports Caffeine and doing something on maybe Thursdays or something, just where we just talk about draft positions and teams and things like that. So we'll figure that out though after this show. But I think definitely this year's offseason NFL will be one of the best ones we've seen in a while.
Kaylee, I will tell you this. This man called me on the phone, giddy as a schoolgirl, after he told me he got a sign-in or an account with the Draft Network from our friend Paige DeMacos. The Draft Network. Giddy as a schoolgirl, saying he's been doing drafts like crazy. It's the best. And I even jumped on using his login, and it is the best thing in the world. I am hooked.
Are you really? I might get an account.
I did a draft with the Bucks, and then I did it with the Jags. I was doing all kinds of crazy ass trades. Like they actually ring you up on the phone and say, "Hey, there's like
what?
A phone rings. You hit trade. It is unbelievably addicting. If you get on there.
I'm gonna have to do it. One, because I love Paige with all of my heart and everything she does, but also two, that sounds very exciting. The phone rings.
Free money from the Draft Network, by the way. Cheers.
Cheers to the Draft Network.
You're welcome, job. Paige. She's the one who said don't promote anything for free, and here we are just hyping your show.
Whatever. Hey man,
I don't care.
We love her product. Yeah,
good product.
Yeah, this is a good product. So whatever, it's cool.
Good product.
I like that idea, Chip. I like that. You can do that. Yep. Sports Caffeine was actually reactivated by Kristen and Taylor on Monday. So yeah, join them. Yeah, join them.
Good followers, maybe join them. Yeah, maybe do something separate. I don't know, but I'll come up with a format. We'll all discuss it.
So
cool with me.
For sure. I'm looking forward to the draft, obviously, because the draft is going to be very fun for me. Maybe not so much for you guys, but for me, it's going to be great. But let's talk Super Bowl post celebration parade, boat parade, whatever madness occurred in Tampa Bay.
I love it. You get one guy, the straightened arrow, the guy that's probably hadn't had an alcoholic beverage in 15 years, comes to Tampa, wins the Super Bowl, stacked against all odds, and so what? The guy gets a little wrecked. He's allowed to do it.
I think a lot of people appreciated it though, except for
I did,
except for Karen. But we'll get into that in a little bit.
Lorraine. But
like seeing him stumble out of that boat parade, like looking like a Jennifer or an Ashley at a drunk at a bar, like I'm so happy right now. Like that was, and then him like the clip kept going on. He's like Cam. If you would have dropped that, it would have been a disaster. It was phenomenal. I think that's what everybody wanted to see was athletes in that kind of moment, and having him just be giddy like that that's what you want to see out of Brady. So
he's a human being.
Yeah, that's what was missing for the past 20 years was seeing him be anything other than this robot. And now he goes for full Florida man, and I'm not complaining about it. It's very fun to watch.
I love it, and I think he should, they've already shown his Twitter. He's already back working. Like, he's already back in the office, going to work, doing his TB12, drinking his vampire blood, and eating kale salads again. So he had a day or two when he, got a little off kilter. So what? The guy's won 7 Super Bowls. You deserve it, TB. You do whatever you throw a trophy, drink 90 beers, have tequila, guacamole. You deserve it, dude.
I think the Bucks need to maybe salute the Tampa Bay Lightning for really kicking off those crazy boat parades, because they did it first and they did it quite well. But I think the Bucks really turned it up a notch with like Brady's $2 million boats. them like Brady tossing Lombardi trophy everywhere. Scotty Miller allegedly, dropping Chris Godwin's phone in the water, which turned out to be not true, but like all these crazy stories that went on. I mean, did you guys watch the Instagram stories and the Snapchats? They were hilarious. And I guess Gronk's boat was the best one of them all because it's Gronk.
Gronk is on it.
It's Gronk is on it. The dude. Oh, I wish I
do you think, because I'm a big fan of these boat parades, I don't know that I would really care to attend, like, especially if it's not my team, right? I don't know that I would care to attend a regular, boring, stand on the side of the street parade. But the boat parade, both the Lightning and the Bucks, it's pretty cool. And I feel like that should just be the tradition in Tampa Bay going forward for any team to have a boat parade.
I think for any Florida team, because we've got the best weather.
Yeah.
You got the Gulf of Mexico. You've got the Tampa Bay area right there. I mean, screw the regular like car parades. That's silly stuff. That's what, New England and all the northern states can do. But like boat parades, that sets the standard from now on is boat parades. I want to see like pontoon parades, kayak parades, and then, you never know, somebody might turn it up a notch and have like an air show, like jet parades, like or yacht parades. Like, dude, there's sky's the limit when it comes to parades now.
Well, we got the perfect weather. I'm going to step outside real quick and adjust my window because the weather's so good here.
Can you go grab me a margarita while you're at it too?
Make sure my weather is, as I'll tell our viewing audience, I have.
It's 8:00 right now, but Chip's out is in California where it's still light outside.
I'm working with a green screen. I have audience, and it hasn't been a good experience thus far, but we're working on it. So
I'm a big fan of it. I think it adds character, a little bit of spice to the show. I'm here for it. Yeah. You can make it anything you want too. That's the cool part.
You have to forgive my window if it moves.
All you need now is to cut a slit and then just pop right through it. And then
I would love that.
I'm going to work on that. Of course, that ruins the green screen though. I don't like that idea very much, but we'll think about it.
Going back to the the Karen that that wants an apology from Brady, which you'll probably never ever get.
Yeah.
About them disrespecting the Lombardi trophy. Like, come on, lady.
So what I will say about this lady is it is kind of cool because her dad, not her, she's not the cool part, but her dad is actually, I'm pretty sure he made the first Lombardi trophy as the master silversmith at Tiffany & Co. So that's very cool. That's like a cool little connection. I'm wondering if she actually cares and stayed up and it kept her up and she felt that it was super disrespectful, or if she just wants 15 minutes on the news and to talk about herself. I really can't tell.
I think 15 minutes on the news personally, but
I say you should tell her to look at what the Lightning did with the Stanley Cup and just
but they don't make
teams do with the Stanley Cup.
They don't make the Stanley Cup though. That's made by a different company, different deal.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, get over it. Like,
but I think doesn't the NFL pay for the Lombardi, right? Like, it's not as if they've donated it and it's supposed to go to a museum. It is, they pay for it. Yeah, it's expensive. They pay for it. The team gets to spend time with it. She's also not a football fan. So I think that probably plays into it where she doesn't seem like a sports fan in general. So maybe she just doesn't understand the excitement or the atmosphere, what's going on around a team winning the Super Bowl, or just like the gravity of winning a Super Bowl. Maybe she just doesn't get it. I don't know.
I say move on, stop complaining, and let them celebrate. So
Jason Light immediately responded to her. It was like, he's like, I forgot what name he used, but he said "Lady Chill" or
it was "Lighten Up" something.
Yeah, something. So I mean, you got to calm down. Now she watches the Super Bowl, like you said, Kaylee, for the trophy presentation, and that's all she does. So you got to,
which is fine.
Yeah, that's fine, but she does not understand anything about what these players go through as a team. She didn't watch any of the season games. She didn't know what happened. So you can't invade the spoils and say something like that when you have no idea what this team had to overcome and what they went through to get to the top of the mountain. That's ridiculous.
It's not what Jason Light said. It's what he tweeted out. So if you've ever seen the movie Stripes with Sergeant Hulka,
Knock it off, Francis. Or what's
lighten up, Francis.
Lighten up. That's what it
lighten
was.
Up, Francis. Yeah,
that's what
Francis.
it was.
That's funny. I've never seen that movie.
Sergeant Hulk is like our big toe.
That movie's from the 70s.
No, it's from the 80s. Get it right, 80s.
That's okay.
My bad.
A Bill Murray classic. You should watch it. Get some.
It is very good. I will say that. I do back.
I mean, I found his comment very funny. I think she just needs to she's the calm lighten up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, she's not I like how they dubbed her Florida Woman because it's almost
Fort Myers.
Yes, it's almost more offensive than calling her Karen, to be honest with you. I was like, ouch, that hurts. Florida Woman. Like, if I ever had a news story written about me and it started with Florida Woman, I would jump off the skyway. Like, I don't want to, that's not, it's not a compliment. It's not a descriptor. It's a straight up insult. And they did it to her.
Do we know if she's married? Maybe we can hook her up with Tiger King, Joe
Exotic.
Yes, dude.
No, I feel like Joe Exotic's way too fun for her.
Actually,
he's got the parties.
Maybe Joe would lighten her up though a little bit. Get her to like tigers and get after what's her name, Karen or not Karen?
Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin. Yeah, maybe we should have him. Evan, I was trying to get with Kaylee and say, hey, maybe. We can introduce Joe, the Tiger guy, to Florida that lady in Fort Myers.
He's in jail.
He is in jail.
Maybe can he get conjugal visits? I mean, what's that about?
I don't know about Carol Baskin, but she sure did that. Carol Baskin.
That's another whole podcast. We could talk for hours about Tiger King, honestly. But yeah, no, that was unfortunate. I just can't. I can't deal with people like that.
It blows my mind that somebody has to ruin the party like that, and Francis did that. A lot, Karen or whatever her name is has to
Lorraine.
come in and say,
Lorraine,
whatever.
Florida woman.
Yeah, Florida woman has to come in. It's like that one kid that gets picked last at everything, or that one person that gets left out. Like, hey, or that one person that tweets out during like somebody's death and saying, "Oh, my condolences." No, it's more like, "Hey, I'm still here." That's what she is.
Oh, that's so wow. That's just
dark. Yeah, I know.
And that's very dark.
Yeah, that was. Well, it's okay. I mean,
I took that from Anthony Jeselnik, by the way. Yeah.
I love it. I'm not gonna lie, so I don't mind it.
You're welcome, Anthony Jeselnik. There you go.
It's usually me saying something dark, but it's like pre-show before we've gone live. And then I'm waiting for you guys to either laugh or be like, this person is mentally unstable. So it could really go either way every time.
Good. I'll just keep showing up 5 minutes before then. I don't want you to take away my cheer.
That's fine. Also, Chip, you put my story on the rundown.
I did. Well, Kaylee, I mean, Evan and I were like sitting there. We were hanging on every text. You were like, I'm hanging out with the whole.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
And I was like, I stopped everything I was doing. I was like, oh God.
It was so less dramatic than that, but I did. You put it in there, and it took me about 10 minutes to really grasp what you were talking about, and then I was like, oh yeah, okay, gotcha.
Well, yeah, I missed. We kind of heard the details, but kind of set the story up for our listeners. I mean, you ended up being around a lot of the Bucs players after they celebrated. So set the table for us.
It was a weird place. So I don't know if you guys have seen Love Child in Soho. It's like a Cuban restaurant, and it's very, I don't know how to describe it, like Art Deco Miami style. So it's got pink and glitter and flamingos and palm trees. Okay. It's all of that like retro Miami style. But we went there for brunch, and we're sitting there, and we're just sitting there, and I see this like very tall person walk in, and he just was towering over everyone, and the chairs are low. And I was like, oh, it's definitely Cameron Brate. And then it was Scotty Miller, a bunch of the interior offensive linemen, and then Ryan Jensen showed up. I know. And then one of my friends that we were sitting with, he's a big fan. So it's like a community table. So we're on the other end of that community table, essentially.
Okay. And so how big for those guys? You had to be at a huge, I mean, how many people sat at that table?
Yeah. So they they had like a few girls with them as well. So it was probably like an initial group of 10. And then a few other people showed up as we were leaving. But it was pretty funny because my friend is oddly obsessed with Suck-Up, right? Like he calls him Das Boot, and is like the only reason they won the Super Bowl is Ryan Suck-Up. And so it's been this running joke through the entire playoffs where like we were watching the Chiefs game and he was like, who is this guy? Like he looks like what did he say? He said he looks like a turtle, talking about Travis Kelce. And I was like, oh, he's just like one of the best players in the league. But oh yeah, okay. And so we're going on this thing and he's like, he's not Ryan Suck-Up. So this has been a running joke for weeks. So we're talking about it and I'm like, oh yeah, like that's Cameron Bray, that whatever. And he was like, I want to see my man Ryan Suck-Up walk in. Ryan Suck-Up walks in not even a minute later. And I'm just sitting there and I was like, would you know if he walked in? Like, do you know what he looks like? Do you know his real name?
I would not. I can say flat out, I would not know.
He did not. He did not. And I was like, I was like, would you go up to him if he walked in? And he was like, yeah. And I'm watching Ryan Suck-Up like at the table, at the other end of our table. And he's like, yeah, I definitely would. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then we leave or whatever. And they had like said a few things to us about like the menu or the service and like the drinks. And they got these like big people we were with had these big like round goblet drinks. And they asked what it was. Yeah. So we were like at that table. They were super nice. We leave. And then I was like, you do realize Ryan Suck-Up had been at that table for about 30 minutes that we were sitting there. And he was like, no. And I was like, yeah. So you wouldn't know.
Because I would have turned around.
No, he didn't turn around.
What?
That's ridiculous. So I thought this was pretty interesting because I was thinking about, again, because this is not my team, but what's like one athlete, if you saw somewhere, you could not help yourself, you would have to go up to that person? Like the number one person you'd want to run into.
Oh, man, that is really tough. As a kid growing up, I grew up in Alpharetta. When I was in middle school, and Deion Sanders lived in a house, like a neighborhood called Seven Oaks, and it was less than a mile from where a friend of mine lived. And we could see, we were fishing at a pond, and his home was across the side of the pond. And you could go up the road and you kind of peer over his fence. And he had a pool shaped like a football, a hot tub shaped like a baseball, and there were 21. His number was all over the place. And if I saw him, I think, I'd probably just have to, I'd go full schoolgirl and just run and cheer.
Yeah, that's a good one. I feel like being in sports, I don't fangirl as much as I'm just like, oh, that's cool. Like, that's interesting. And then I pay attention. But I think there's a limited amount of people I would fangirl over. Like maybe Jalen Ramsey. I think Juju Smith-Schuster's one, even though he's younger than me, he's a child. I would still, he seems like a good time. I'd be like, hey, or like DK Metcalf. I'd be like, hey, but
I think what you did, I think where you're messed up at this brunch with the Buccaneers, you didn't buy them anything. You should have said, hey, a round of French toast on me. Or a round of mimosas.
I don't have a Lombardi trophy and a Super Bowl ring. They do.
That's right.
Well,
first of all,
a way of getting their attention, though.
Like, but hey, I don't really need their attention.
Or you could have just played them and be like, who are these guys? I already know who they are. And just buy them around.
No, because then you look silly, and that would have dissed our credibility as a show. Who are these guys? Can you come interview on our show?
I feel like I know I chickened out of asking, but they seemed like they were having such a good time, and they were just with friends too, like normal people friends. And I was kind of like, oh, I would be that person. And I feel like they were kind of digging our vibe before that. So I was like, never mind, let me not. But yeah, I didn't really need their, like, you could definitely see some, Tampa is full of these people, just some people who are like, oh, like we need to go up and say something. And I'm just like, I don't ever feel the need to do that to athletes, but I do feel like there's a handful where I would have to go up. And I would have to do the fangirl thing and take a picture. And it wasn't them, unfortunately. No offense to Cameron Brate and Scotty Miller, but it's not you. But like, there are people. There are people, you know?
I think, me and Chip went up to Dirk Cutter and I said, we miss you in Tampa. And I was lying my ass off.
He probably knew. Like, no one misses Dirk Cutter in Tampa.
Well, it took us a little bit from the combine, and we, Keegan, and one of our sponsors on our previous show, and still a great friend of the show, Sherry watches, identified Metcalf DK Metcalf coming out of one of the terminals, and he was walking towards our gate. And obviously, we were exhausted because the night before we had a great time, but we had to wake up at 6 to go to the combine. You had to be at the front gate at 7. So we were exhausted, and Evan and I were just kind of sitting there, and he was like, if you don't go up to him right now, dude, I am pulling my sponsorship money. I will not fund your show anymore. And I was like, oh God.
That's very funny.
Then we had to get it together. And so I walked up, introduced myself, and got pictures with Deebo Samuel and DK Metcalf.
Kayla, you're what, 5'6", 5'7"?
I'm 5'6" and a half.
So you're probably the size of DK Metcalf's leg, maybe at the knee cut off. Yeah,
I would love that for me. I would love that for me. Honestly, but you want to hear a funny story? So I was out with a friend the night. When was it? It must have been the night before the Super Bowl, the Saturday before. So we went out and we just kind of walked past the Super Bowl experience. We were just downtown, like hanging out. We went to this bar that was outdoors-ish to grab a drink. And my friend is tall, not as tall as DK Metcalf, but definitely like has very similar features, right? Like I've actually made the comparison before, and he's like, you are absolutely ridiculous. I don't look anything like him. And I was like, I'm not saying you look like DK Metcalf, but I'm just saying you have similar features to DK Metcalf.
Some of your physical traits.
Yeah, like there's some things where I could see it. Like he also has a nose ring. So there's things that are like that make them look pretty similar in the face. But we were sitting at this bar, and it's funny because I can imagine that a lot of people, especially people out of town, because of all the athletes and celebrities that were in town for the Super Bowl, they might have just been like, they might have just been looking at any guy that kind of looks like a football player and just being like, is that somebody we should know? This guy comes up to us plastered, like gets in our faces, no mask, of course, because Tampa, Florida, and goes and was like, hey, are you DK Metcalf? But he was drunk, so he kept saying DJ Metcalf, and I was like, DK Metcalf. And he's like, yeah, and he's like, no, DJ. But I was like, no, DK Metcalf.
DJ Metcalf, like on the ones and twos.
Confused?
DJ,
okay.
He was a drunk.
Wow.
Yeah, there's something going on. Yeah, but he was plastered, and he kept insisting that my friend was DK Metcalf, and then he was like, oh man, like we've been looking at you for the past like 20 minutes, just trying to figure out if you were. And then he was just sitting there looking at me like, are you sure this isn't him? And I'm like, no, it's not. Trust me. Trust.
And you know that. You know the traits. You know the similarities. You would know DK if you walked in.
It would be hard to miss.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to miss. He's a pretty large human being.
Well, I mean, Evan, do you have that picture?
I can find it, yeah.
Well, here. Well, while we're talking.
It'll take me a little bit.
Well, no, here. I'll text that picture to you. But when I stood beside him, I literally was like, wow. I thought I was a big guy. And I'm a big guy in all the wrong areas. But he is a big guy in all the right areas. And 6 foot. I think he's 6'7".
6'7"?
No, not that tall.
Really?
6'4", 6'5", maybe. But yeah, he was a very, very large man to be standing next to.
I don't want to derail our conversation because I love this.
But you're going to derail our conversation.
Yep.
I'm going to derail this conversation.
Okay, I got you.
Let's talk a little bit about Bucks off-season stuff because I think what they have to deal with, especially with salary cap, is who's going to be going, who's going to be leaving.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, out of the guys that are free agents, we've got Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski, Levante David,
and Ndamukong
Suh. Guys, yeah. So out of those core guys, who do you guys think is going to be gone?
Well, you didn't even say. I mean, dude, you got
so many. People.
Leonard for the playoff. Leonard Fournette.
Rob Gronkowski. You said Ndamukong Suh, Shaq Barrett, Antonio Brown, Levante David. I mean, you got a ton.
The list is really long.
Yeah.
In addition to that, but
out of those core guys, who do you think is going to be chasing the money, or going to be staying and say, "Hey, I will take less money to chase number 2"?
I feel like Chris Godwin could be one to walk, and this is just my opinion about what we saw and what we heard of Tom Brady say to Rob Gronkowski after, he very much catered to his guys in the Super Bowl. And I think as important as it is for Chris Godwin to get Super Bowls, I also think that he's the kind of guy that wants to contribute to that. Like, I don't see him as someone who wants to kind of like play a few snaps, ride the bench or anything, like, because he is extremely talented. It just is like they had so much talent. So I see him as someone who wants to go somewhere and make significantly more of an impact in a Super Bowl run. So I would see him going somewhere that's a little more like right on the cusp, right? Like they have all the pieces. They just need that one really great wide receiver. I know we always talk about Indianapolis being that kind of team, but like that's a team where I could see him thriving. There's a few others that they have the pieces there. They're just not, they're not clicking, or they're just missing that one piece. Kevin mentioned Leonard Fournette and Shaq in the comments. I can agree with that. I think, wow.
I mean, look at me. I'm in front of him, so that picture does no depth.
Yeah.
But I'm 6. What am I? 6'1" probably, or 6. So, and he's 2 feet or 3 feet behind me. So he doesn't look that tall, but dude, when I was standing in front of him, and you could see Deebo Samuel still had his cred, his press cred. Yeah, and there's Cutter.
Aww.
But he was just he was a manimal of a human being to sit behind or to be in front of. So
yeah, he's also gained weight, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, it was Kevin Kevin Fitzmaurice from
we got our own script here. We just go off the wall.
This is the casual fit show. Usually we're pretty on point, but today we're chilling.
That's right. We got our
let's go back to that though. I think Kevin had a good point. I honestly think Godwin might stay. If they franchise tag him, he'll stay. Fournette's probably going to go. I think we obviously know he's going to chase a multi-year contract.
That's his personality.
Exactly.
Yep.
Shaq Barrett, on the other hand, I think might stay if they franchise tag him again, or they might work out a deal where he gets a multi-year deal and he'll stay. I really don't. Even though he's maybe kind of hinted he might test free agency, I think he might stay. Now the other guys, like the older guys, like Sue, probably will stay. Might take a little bit less money to chase ring number 2 because these are guys like Levante David. Obviously, Levante David's been there through the good times and the bad times with the Bucs. He's been in the league for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
Why leave now? Like take a pay cut, go for number 2. I think the older guys will probably stay. The younger guys will either take the franchise tag or probably move on. Like Gronk, obviously Gronk's probably going to stay and take less money. That's a definite. He's not going anywhere else. But the other guys that are the younger dudes, they're probably gonna say, "I got to get mine," and I'm probably gonna go. You know what I mean?
All right. So let me bring this. Let me crunch it down to a numbers base and be the guy that's going to be the red blanket. Be the realist. Okay. So the guys that we're looking at, the cap, they have on Spot Track right now. They have the cap at 189. That is not going to be the cap. Everybody who's talking about the new league starting in March, it's probably going to be around 180, which means the Bucs right now, adjusted with all their contract players, are at 161. That gives them about $19 million to play with, okay? With the current team they have. Godwin, Levante David are both salaries, calculated market values for free agency. They deserve to be paid $17 million a year. Levante David's actually 12.7. Okay. So Godwin's 17.2, Levante David's 12.7, Shaq Barrett's 19.7. Yeah. And you've got $19 million to play with. And those 3 guys alone are almost 4x what you're looking to spend.
And there could be more money to play with because Evans and Tom Brady himself says, "Hey, we'll restructure, to let more money be available and everything." So
yeah. So I mean, the guys that are going to have to make cuts are those guys, and they can't make $1 million to $2 million cuts. They need to make $5 to $10 million cuts.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Tom Brady's not going to do that.
There's not enough guys, I think, with enough money and enough power to say, we'll make it work for other guys, right? Yeah. Like there's those guys that are going to do that, but it's just not going to be enough. And I think I think that's a good point too. Levante David is a must. I think we talked about that a little bit last week. Just him off the field brings such a veteran presence to a team that really is kind of patchwork of all these really talented big name guys, but he provides that Buccaneers feel from being here for so long. So I think he's really important. I do think you're going to lose either Shaq Barrett or Ndamukong Suh. And I feel like one of those people are going to go, and I don't know which one it is, but I also think, not to throw a wrench in this whole conversation, but looking at the tight ends and where that's starting to go, you've got Gronk acting more as a blocking tight end until Tom Brady decides he needs to score 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. And then you've got Cameron Brate stepping up. But don't forget that OJ Howard's now back in this conversation this year, coming back off of injury, who he was kind of on a rise before he got injured. So what do you do? See,
that's a good predicament to have, because all three are great tight ends. And I think we talked about this before on Sports Caffeine, about, especially after the draft, and Chip, you and I talked about this with JP Peterson about what do you do with OJ, because he might be the odd man out. And I honestly do think he might still be the odd man out. Obviously, it kind of hinders him being on EIR the whole year with the injury. But if you can maybe get a little bit off of him for a trade, but obviously Cameron Brate makes more than OJ Howard. So do you trade Cameron Brate and then keep OJ as the heir apparent to the tight end of the future, or trade OJ and keep Cameron Brate? Because obviously Cameron Brate and Tom Brady have a good rapport together.
Yeah.
But it's also like how much longer is Brady going to be there? Now, if Brady goes in and says, this is my last year, this is it, or Tom Brady might say, I'm going to play till I'm 45, 46 if I keep playing the way I'm playing. So it's a good problem. The Bucs have a good problem they have when it comes to those types of positions. And to Kaylee, to answer your question about who's going to go, Shaq or Suh, Shaq's probably going to be the one that's going to go.
Yeah.
Suh, I think, is probably going to take a nice restructured pay cut with incentives and stay. And then Shaq Barrett's probably going to go and chase that money.
Yeah.
Just like a lot of those guys. I think even I kind of disagree with you, Chip, on Brady's point of view. I think he might restructure and then will have more incentives than he will base pay. That's what I think.
He'll restructure, but he won't restructure to the tune of over $5 million. No way. He's been taking hometown discounts for like 50
I know. But that's
that guy he's the last one that'll take a huge hit. Last one. And he should be, because he came to a team that hadn't been to the Super Bowl in a really long time, took a core guys he didn't know, went to a new system, and did something that no one else has done in NFL history. So, yes, he should be the last guy you ask, because he's the one that got you there.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think he should be the last guy to ask unless he's making these decisions, which I think he is driving a lot of them. So I think when it comes to people like Antonio Brown, Gronk, like these guys that he wanted there and he brought there, it's kind of like, okay, well, you want them, you figure it out. I feel like that's a fair argument to make. I also think, like it's a good problem to have in the sense that when you look at the offense, I feel like they could lose a handful of pieces and be just fine, because there's so many pieces on offense where it's like, that's great, but you didn't really need it. That's kind of how I felt about Gronk. Like, not to say that he's an incredible athlete. And I kind of feel like Tom Brady was just like, you're going to score now. Here's the ball. But I also feel like Tom Brady could probably do that with a handful of people. And I felt like that about him, Antonio Brown. Even though Antonio Brown had good plays, I also feel like the other guys on the team could have made those plays. So there's guys on the offense where I'm like, you could lose those guys and be just fine. You actually probably would be better suited to an offensive scheme if you narrowed down your weapons and really built something, like built more rapport around a few guys than having 10 different guys that you're trying to throw to. I think on the defensive side, which is interesting because this is where the Bucs have built it without Brady, is where you really can't afford to lose people, because I mean, that entire depth that you've built there, the entire structure and the scheme and having guys in those places that you've been able to establish throughout the season, which is, I mean, to be fair, the only reason you won a Super Bowl at the end of the day, because we saw how they played in the beginning of the season. It's hard to lose any of those guys. So it's going to be a weird balance between offense and defense when you're distributing money, but they're going to have to figure it out.
And who's to say that they don't get guys, in free agency that will say, hey, I'll take less money to come down to Tampa. They know what they're doing down there. I want to come down and play with Brady. I want to get a ring. Like, Who's to say they don't get guys on the cheap? And I think Kaylee, Kevin's your new number one best friend, by the way.
Yeah, I love this guy. He's just a hype man.
Kevin Fitzmaurice, the CEO of JDF Sports on Facebook. Check him out.
Yeah,
good,
I love
good
that
friend.
for me.
Yeah,
love this journey for me.
It's going to be tough, I think, for free agents because you already know what it takes to win, and those guys are going to have to walk. So, and like you said, Kaylee, I think if you let an Antonio Brown walk, and here's where the rubber is going to meet the road, are Tom Brady's guys, the guys that he wants to keep there, going to trump a guy like Scotty Miller. Like if Tom Brady comes out and says, okay, I want to keep AB, well, then the Bucs are going to have to make a decision if they want to get rid of a Scotty Miller because they're kind of they're not similar players as far as talent yet, but they have similar traits. They're slot guys. They can run fast. You can't compare Scotty Miller to Antonio Brown. That's just not a comparison, but they're different. They have the same role. So you have to decide as an organization how you're going to make that deal. You're going to let Tom Brady run that, or are you going to run that?
It's almost like a marketplace. And when I say a marketplace like eBay, want to give a brief moment to talk about our newest sponsor, eBay. Whether rare dead stock or the latest release, find the exact shoe you're looking for. As the original sneaker marketplace, eBay is the place to go to cop the pair you've been eyeing. With eBay's authenticity guarantee, your sneakers are meticulously inspected by independent professional authenticators. A team of experienced sneaker authenticators verify the box, logo, and stitching, and dozens of other inspection points. Each sneaker also receives an authenticity guarantee tag that includes a digital stamp of authenticity. I can't even say that word. It also protects sellers with verified return process. Go to ebay.com/sneakersaday. eBay, the world's best destination for discovering great value and unique selection. eBay.
I'm glad we had that sponsor for one show. All right.
We have to read these.
Look,
I have to read these. Thank you, Kevin.
Kevin. Kevin's a hype guy. He's like a 10 out of 10 hype guy. But that transition, 11 out of 10 on transition. Because I was sitting there and I was like, where's he going with this? And then you started the ad read and I was like, okay, I'm not supposed to understand. Okay. And then you started the ad and then authenticity really got you. But at least you weren't on mute like last time.
Like last time where I was on mute and I didn't even notice until I saw your text and I was like, oh, I just did that really before the whole show. Awesome. I'm unprofessional right now. Yes, thank you.
Hey, that's all right. It's been rough,
Yeah,
Super Bowl hangovers long.
Repping the For the Bay clothing line champions t-shirt I got this week, by the way. Thank you.
Nice.
Love that for you. I will say before we jump off of this topic, I do hope that they don't just like backfill all these guys that leave. Like I just hope that they don't make this like a landing place for Brady's friends. Like I get where that's fun, but I do think that there's something to be said, and maybe this is just like me being sentimental, but okay, like it's cool that Tom Brady won his 7th Super Bowl, but it's also cooler to watch guys like Levante David and Shaq Barrett. It's cooler to watch those guys that are Buccaneers, and like not to say that Tom Brady's not, but just to see those guys who have been there and like got drafted there, and that's really the one uniform they've worn, and that's where they've spent their career, and see those guys get to celebrate that is really cool. So it would be a little unfortunate because I didn't find it that great of a storyline, but it was those little storylines within the team and mostly on defense where I was like, this is cute, right? Like those are guys I can root for. So I just hope that they don't do that.
I hope they don't either. Like Kevin put in the comments, cough, Julian Edelman. No, I don't want Julian Edelman down here. No, New England can keep him or release him, but whatever. Good thing that you mentioned those guys that were the homegrown guys drafted, like Antoine Winfield Jr.
Yeah.
His dad was in the pros for the longest time, never got to the Super Bowl, but that video of him and his dad hugging it out on the field and his rookie year, like winning he's now a Super Bowl champ, and those two guys just embracing his father and son it gives me goosebumps just talking about it, man. Goosebumps, right?
Like that,
that defensive backfield, Kaylee, I didn't mean to cut you off. Is so young. That's been in the past 2 draft classes. They've assembled that backfield. So their window defensively, as far as the backfield is concerned, at least another 2 years.
Yeah.
That's even scarier.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like this offense, I honestly think that this offense is going to look so different once Brady's gone. And I don't know when that is, but I just don't think as it's fun to win Super Bowls and it's really good for the city. It's good for the economy in the city. It's a lot of things. It's fun. But at the end of the day, I think Tampa does need a longevity driven plan, right? Like I think they need those staple guys to be able to root for, not guys that if Brady says I'm out after next year, now you have to refill your entire offense. Like that just sucks, right? Like I don't know.
No, I'm staying true to my Aaron Rodgers theory. Like after Brady's gone, Aaron Rodgers is coming to town.
That's fun. I like that.
Yeah. Okay.
I like that. Good. Retirement tour of the NFL. I'm not hitting it.
I think Chris Godwin stays in Florida, either goes to Miami or Jacksonville. Because they have the most loot, and they both those teams are going to need a wide receiver. And why not go to a Dolphins team that's on the up and is really young, invigorated, got a lot of good pieces. Jacksonville has the most cap room. They're going to take, a quarterback that's going to start their offense. They already have a good running game. They already have a good offensive line. You already know that Trevor Lawrence is going to be throwing the ball, 60, 65 yards, flat-footed. That's where I'd go, man. I'd go to one of those teams. You already like the Florida weather. Godwin been to Penn State, I think, as in college. So I think that he's done with the cold. Stay in Florida, man. Keep your state taxes and, keep all your tax breaks intact and just do that.
Miami would be good for him, I think. I think, obviously, Flores is really great, with the players and building that.
They're missing, though, a quarterback, though. Tua is not it.
Well, they're in the talks for Deshaun Watson. There's a lot of places they can go.
I guarantee you Deshaun Watson is not leaving Houston anytime soon.
I mean, maybe not. I don't know. I think we'll see, but I don't know. I'm very underwhelmed by the way that Jacksonville. We're not even going to get into it because it's a different podcast, but I'm very underwhelmed with what they've done as far as hiring for the coaching staff in Jacksonville. And I'm not saying that it's going to crash and burn, but this plan and this rebuild could easily crash and burn because you couldn't wait a few weeks for Eric Bieniemy. But I'm just saying.
Urban Meyer really hasn't gotten off on the good foot when it comes to hiring coaches already. So
because it's a boys club and based on nothing except for his friends, not merit. And not being a good person, clearly. So, and in a franchise that has a terrible time with player development, that's not the staff to bring in. But again, it would leave it to the Jags to have everything in front of them.
Grab her umbrella. There's already a rainy parade. It's not even yet.
It doesn't. God,
they have $72 million. A guy like Godwin, and he's even come out in the press already. He wants to get paid. So you know what?
Yeah,
dude. Kevin, God love Kevin, dude.
Jeez, Kevin. We're chopped liver on this show.
I'm here for it.
Godwin wants money. They got $72 million in salary cap room. You're gonna have a young quarterback throw the football and chuck it all over the yard. Dude, go there.
Yeah.
Go there and be their deep option, dude. They can line him up outside. And I mean, he could go and get all the targets he wants there.
Oh, can I say one thing about these OBJ rumors about the Bucs making a trade for him? Shut your hole.
That's so insane.
Shut your dirty mouth about that. Nobody wants to bring OBJ down here.
Also, that's just not even logical.
No.
They don't need him.
He's gonna want more money. He makes a lot more money than Chris Godwin. He's older than Chris Godwin, and he's coming off an ACL injury. Why? And all those people, they'll win another Super Bowl with OBJ. No, they will not. No. That's all I'm gonna say.
Correct. I agree. That's a weird rumor.
It's heating up though. It's getting.
What is it founded on?
It's ever since
was it
the
Bucs
Bucs.
Life? Somebody.
No. This is national media. This is national media. This was on ESPN, First Take. This is all national media saying the OBJ wants to come down to Tampa. Tampa should make a trade for him, and it's heating up about this might happen. No, it's not going to happen. That would be so dumb for them to make a trade for OBJ. That should not even happen. And I will talk my shit. Thank you, Kevin. I will talk my ish.
Would We should hire this guy for like every episode.
I think he won't do that because that upsets the balance. You saw it in Cleveland. Cleveland played better with him being injured. And can you imagine having potentially Antonio Brown and OBJ on one team? Oh my God! All the press people.
I don't want to.
Media relations would completely fold their tents and be like, "I need a new organization to work for."
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I
would never do that
unless OBJ has some kind of spiritual revelation.
Not even that.
No, I just don't want that to happen. But yeah, it's garnered national attention about it. Like the Bucs should make a trade for OBJ. It was just so stupid.
What are they going to trade? Because I think that's the thing is it would have to be. They don't have any. They can't really
no wiggle room. Cap.
They have no wiggle room with cap. They really have to. It would have to be some sort of straight trade, and then maybe a couple draft picks for 2022. But I don't know what else you would do. That doesn't seem worth it. Not when you have all the pieces. Like, and that's the thing is. The Bucs are not lacking pieces to win another Super Bowl. I don't know that they're lacking anything. I just think the most important thing is to figure out what the right moves are as far as the offseason goes and who to pay and who not to pay. It's not adding any pieces to the puzzle unless you find yourself in a hole and someone leaves and then you need to fill that spot with a cheaper free agent. But that's a whole different conversation. That's not going out of your way to trade for an offensive weapon you don't even need because that seems wild. Like that seems crazy.
I wouldn't even say wild. It's stupid.
He's under contract through 2024 and he had 40 million, almost 41 million guaranteed. So his number, I mean, his cap hit would be 15 mil.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't.
That's not even possible.
That's not even. Yeah, we're not even in the ballpark. So
I understand the talking heads in the mothership need to like talk about something because it's relatively slow right now. All you have really to talk about is Daytona 500 and tennis and spring training coming up, which we should talk about more in the next show.
Do you want to talk about baseball today?
Are the Lightning? What are they even playing hockey in Florida?
Okay, do we want to talk about the Lightning or do we want to talk about the Rays? Let's close out with one of those. You guys pick. Okay,
we include. Evan wants baseball, dude. So I'm going to give him what he wants. He's going to have a heart attack if we don't talk baseball.
I'm not going to have a heart attack.
All right, get the. Let's bring Evan back to life. Baseball. Baseball.
Wow.
All right.
I will say this: the Rays have assembled some great pitching pieces. Look at that. Right there. Swap it on over.
Oh, the swap. The big swap.
The Rays have acquired some great pitching pieces to cement a great rotation. They'll be returning. Evan, why don't you talk about some of the acquisitions, obviously, they've had the past week?
Talk your shit.
Oh, hush your mouth. Well, I shouldn't even say that because you have the mute power button for some reason.
I have all the powers today. I can put the comments up. I can mute you. I can take you out.
They brought back Chris Archer, which I'm still on the fence about because which I applaud the Tampa Bay Rays because that's the ultimate slap in the face to the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yes, it is.
Because not only did you trade Chris Archer away a couple of years ago and got back a boatload of talent, as in Austin Meadows, Tyler Glasnow, and also Shane, the Wizard of Boz.
Yes.
You basically signed back the guy you traded away for all that talent for $6.5 million. And with Archer being back, I'm on the fence because he hasn't been Archer since he really left Tampa. He performed quite crappy in Pittsburgh. He was out with an injury this past year too. So it's ultimately like a boom or bust. I mean, if he returns the form with Kyle Snyder, like helping him out in the pitching formation, it can work out for them, but you got to put Archer in the bottom of the rotation. You're not going to put him at a number 2 or 3 spot. There's no way.
I'm looking at him as an innings eater. That's a guy you need to throw out there if one of your starters gets shelled. In the first 3 innings.
And that's one of the guys, and that's him bringing in Colin McHugh, which was great. I love that signing. Yep. And then you can't argue with Rich Hill, aka. I hope this is good for censors, but Dick Mountain. When you bring in Dick Mountain to your pitching rotation, that's his nickname. I'm saying it right now.
Rich Hill.
These are guys that can eat up innings. Now, obviously, Rich Hill has to stay healthy, but when he's healthy, he's relatively effective. They've got a good rotation going into the season. Now, obviously, with the loss of Snell and the loss of Moore, that really takes a big hit. But now you're adding really even more depth to your pitching rotation as it is, which is
I think you're adding depth. You're not adding the same talent.
Exactly. You're adding depth, and that's what they really lacked this past year is the depth that they had because they were eating it. Well, they were eating into the bullpen more than they were, Chip.
Okay.
They were eating into their bullpen more than they should have. Okay, and that's what I think. And listen, I know what you want to say. Kevin Cash has to do a lot with what went on as well.
Well, and he pulls starters, so I mean,
I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to be that guy. Well, I didn't want to say it at all.
That's the truth.
But I like this. But Fangraphs has the Rays as the fourth out of the 5 teams in the AL East making the playoffs, which is I think a slap in the face. Like, do you have the Red Sox over them, which I don't think improved over the offseason? Like the Blue Jays are really the team that really improved a lot. I can't believe I'm saying the Blue Jays.
They did.
A lot. They did.
They signed a lot of players.
Yeah, that's true. Now if it pans out, we'll see. I can just hear Taylor Maville, our buddy, just
going bonkers
right now. I actually said that. So I like it. I mean, I like the moves they made. I think they're not done yet. They might add a big bat. They might add some offense to it. So I don't think they're done yet. I like the moves. I like it. I'm excited for spring training to come because the weather is nice. Spring training is here. They're going to let in fans. I'm going to be able to watch baseball again live and drink beer and eat popcorn and eat hot dogs and all that stuff. Kaylee, would you like to chime in on baseball or are you just kind of over this conversation? Shaking your head. Okay.
I'm chilling. My mind hasn't quite transitioned over.
Okay.
Mentally, I'm not prepared to let go of football quite yet.
Okay.
So just respect my mourning period. Okay.
Okay. I got you.
Thank you.
Well, we gotta there's a lot coming up.
The pictures of me and NFL players? Why?
I guess not. Jeez, Kevin. God.
Hi, Kevin. Just showing that I hang out with all the right people. I'm in the right circles. Jeez.
He's not feeling Chip, but
all right. Well, that's fine. That's okay. Kevin can just keep his own personal space.
I mean, we plugged JDF Sports all night long with his comments. Right. Jeez. I mean,
we've done a lot of free advertising tonight.
I know.
That's okay.
We'll send the bill page.
Yeah.
I'm still transitioning, Kaylee, as well to baseball. This was a first time in a long time in Tampa history. Obviously, they won the Super Bowl and overcame so many, objectives and had to come all sorts of different things. So, yeah, I'm still kind of lagging on.
I think my mourning period is over. I think this will be down. This will be down, and then the Rays. What? This
is not the same. It's not. We are not the same when it comes to this morning period because for those of you who don't know, Evan clambers behind this little screen every time we get on this show. Even when we're in the full swing of playoffs, Evan's like, "Let's talk about baseball," and we're like, "The Buccaneers are going to the Super Bowl. Baseball is going to have to wait a couple weeks." Evan's
can we check the tape on that? Can we go back?
Yes.
I
want to start recording the pre and post game, or the pre and post stream, so we can do little blooper reels. But that's what Evan's like. So it's not quite the same because I don't feel like you're 100% emotionally invested in the football that's happening. I feel like you're just always looking ahead for what's next. And me, I'm just right there in it. So when it ends, it just feels like, what do I do with my life now?
Listen, I'm sad football is done because fantasy football is over with. And I was, ecstatic that the Bucs won the Super Bowl, but I'm done celebrating. My week is over. Now it's time to move on to the other sports that are in town. So, I can't deny my feelings
transition
right now.
button than we do.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm excited for the offseason because of all the crazy moves that are going to be happening, the quarterback carousel that's going to be happening, the draft's coming up. So listen, my excitement is dampened, but it's still there. So don't say I'm not, on the same level as you guys. All right.
I'm just saying, I think your pain can't stack up, like you.
Are you saying I push it down the pain? I push down the pain of it, leaving. Is that what you're trying to say? I don't project it.
It's kind of like if you were a cat person and you fostered a dog, like you like spending time with that dog, but when it's time to give the foster dog back, you're like, okay, here you go, bye, Fluffy. Me being a dog person, I could never foster a dog because I wouldn't
get
emotionally
invested.
Exactly. I would not give it back.
On you, I love dogs, so that would never happen.
It was an analogy, but yes. But yeah, I feel like I have not much else to live for besides the NFL. So here I am.
Well, there's Oh, so I checked out this new football league. I don't know if you guys have heard about this before.
Fan-controlled football.
Fan-controlled football. It is amazing. Yes.
Lit.
Which you can catch on Twitch.
I don't know.
It's streaming on Twitch. You actually get to pick the plays that the team runs, and it's amazing. I think it's 7-on-7, right, Kaylee?
It's 7-on-7,
7-on-7.
A 50-yard field. It's basically a miniaturized version of the regular NFL game. And there's 4 teams. They all run the same playbook essentially. So it's kind of weird, but when you watch it, it'll make sense. And Johnny Manziel's in it. Quentin Flowers is in it, for all of you psychos in Tampa that will not stop talking about Quentin Flowers. I love Quentin. Personally, I love him, but I just remember getting harassed by you guys about it. And then there's other guys in there too, but it's pretty interesting. I think Dalvin Cook's cousin also plays in it, but I watched one of the games on Saturday, the second game. Very interesting. Very well done.
Yeah. Huh. Johnny Manziel won his first game in this this league, so
he completed one pass. Had like 11 yards.
Yeah.
He did so
football
bad.
Johnny, who said he would never play football again, and he's playing in this league, which he's probably making about $35,000 a year, or $35,000 for his total salary. So,
not even. They play 6 weeks.
Not even.
They make like $400 every 2 weeks or something like that. I don't know.
Oh goodness.
Well,
or every week. I don't know. They don't make a lot of money. They'll make like 5,000 or 6,000 over the season.
It's back to 7-Eleven for Johnny Manziel after the season's over. Then
it's okay. His family's rich. I'm pretty sure.
That's true too, as well. So I would check it out, Chip. Like if you're yearning for the football, go on Twitch and watch that because it's very entertaining.
I'll definitely have to check it out now.
Yeah.
All right. Love that. We talked baseball. We talked football. We'll talk hockey next week. Sorry, guys. Yeah. I don't know that anyone in the comments is clamoring for hockey talk, but they're
all clamoring for football, which is
I love them for that.
That's true.
But before we sign off, condolences to the family of Vincent Jackson.
Yes.
Very sad story, obviously, with the Buccaneers from 2012 to 2016, I believe. Started his career with the Chargers. Was a Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee for the Buccaneers 4 years in a row. So just lot of
huge in the community, a very wonderful man that, did a lot of things for the Tampa Bay area when it came to community advocacy and helping out kids and stuff like that too. So it's very, very sad, very tragic situation when it comes to a great player and also human being like Vincent Jackson. So thoughts and prayers go out to his family.
Yep.
Yeah. So, is that it? You guys got anything else before we?
We'll wrap.
You do. You do. Evan does.
25 years ago today, a ex-hockey player decided to pick up the game of golf and won the Green Jackets and beat Shooter McGavin in a playoff some time ago. So happy 25th anniversary, Happy Gilmore. Yes,
that's true.
Very, very true.
Very, very true. Yes, that's what I
love.
That.
What a great.
That's all you got.
That's all.
The way you looked was so serious. I was like, I forgot something major, and then he goes into this 25 years ago.
25 years ago.
All right.
It's almost, I should have done it in the Morgan Freeman voice, like 25 years ago.
Yeah.
There was a man that was a hockey player but picked up the game of golf, and that man was Happy Gilmore. Okay, I'm done with that. Yeah,
there was a gold jacket at stake.
Green jacket, gold jacket. Who gives a rat now?
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks to our own personal hype man.
Kevin, you're an animal, dude.
We appreciate you. Tune in next week. Same time, same place. Follow us on Twitter at PlayTheBayTB, Instagram at PlayTheBayTB, Facebook PlayTheBay2020, Apple, Spotify, rate, review, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Make sure to go to eBay and then also bet online. Make sure you do that.
And authenticize all their stuff.
Authenticity. Yeah, make sure you do that. All right.
Thanks for listening to Play the Bay. We'll be back again with another episode on the Believe Podcasting Network. If interested in advertising, please contact Believe.com.